Check. There are things that are good about being each of the 16 personalities, and there are things that are bad about being each of the 16 personalities. But there's also stuff in the middle that's just kind of annoying. It's like not the worst thing ever, but it's this constant pebble in my shoe. So this video is about what is annoying about being each of the 16 personalities. INTPs and ISTPs, you guys have a lot of great ideas, right? You're always thinking of a good way to do something, to solve a problem. And a lot of times you're just off doing this on your own, but ultimately I think you want to solve these problems to help people. So it becomes really annoying when the dummies that you're trying to help, they don't get it. It's a constant annoyance. You've got great answers to the questions that people have, but then the people are like, well, that wasn't the answer I wanted. I don't know. I don't think that's true. I don't know that you've thought this through. Little do they know, you've been thinking this through for the last 15 years. For the ENTJ and ESTJ, just like, you know how to get stuff done. You know how to get people together and work towards a goal. And a lot of times you can look at all the ideas that are out there of how to solve a problem. You can say that one's good, that one's bad. That's why these types are good managers. But then annoyingly, what inevitably ends up happening is that someone is like, hey, I've got a great idea, let's do this. And everyone's like, oh yeah, great. And you're like, hey, does it sound better when you say it? Because I said this weeks ago. Where's my credit? I'm not getting the recognition I deserve. Perhaps on the flip side of that, and if I was good at my job, I would have written it here. When things go wrong, these types feel like they're getting the blame for stuff that they don't deserve the blame for. These types, you just be chilling and do you know how to read a room. I am aware of how people will feel depending on what I say. And you're doing all this heavy lifting in whatever social situation you're in, and inevitably along comes, oh, a vibreaker. Someone just walks in and they say the thing that you know you really shouldn't have said that. Like, read the room. Now I've got to come in and I've got to save the day and I've got to restore the vibe. Because due to you, unfortunately, the vibe continues to deteriorate. It's like, oh, you look like you're having fun, ENFJ or ESFJ. Let me throw a grenade in here that you can jump on top of. These types, I would call, like the explorers of the 16 personalities. They're always looking out for new uncharted territory. Sorry, ENTPs, I cut you off. So what's really annoying for them is when they're out doing all of this mental exploration, they're looking at all of the possibilities for whatever it is. It might be like the next big adventure or the next big thing I could do with my life, the next job, the next degree. So it's really annoying when you're out doing your thing, exploring, and then you look around and you've ended up at square one. You're not stuck at square one. You have actually gone out, you've gone through all the squares, you've gone through square 1014, and then accidentally you look around and it's like, I'm back where I started from. Maybe it's something as literal as my hometown, or maybe it's something a little more abstract, like originally I had a plan for a business that would make hamburger buns, and then I went through all these iterations of ideas and went crazy, and then I just came back to the idea that, yeah, hamburger buns, let's just do it. These types like to say, we'll see. Everyone around them is like, no, we could draw a conclusion right now. And they're like, no, I don't think we can. There are like several details here that are different. This is probably not the same situation. But then it is. Oh no. I am so annoyed. It's the same old thing. You got fired from a company that was like a tech startup, and it was being run kind of fast and loose, and it looked like it was going to be really great, and then it fell apart. You lost your job, and then you get a job with another tech company, a tech startup. It's playing fast and loose, and you're like, this time it's going to be different. Everyone around you is like, hey dude, this is the same old situation as before. Maybe you should get out before you lose your job. But you're like, nah, that last company, they sold cybersecurity software, and this company that I'm at now, they sell cyber insecurity. Software that tells you all the things that are wrong. INFPs, ISFPs, you guys like to do your own thing. I want to be an actor because I love it. No good reason for it. But it's so annoying because there's just all these distractions. And specifically, I'm talking about people creating distractions. You're over here trying to be an actor, and All these people are like, hey, what are you going to do for a real job? That's not a great idea. Hey, why don't you do this? 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 Hey, I'm trying to pull you over here to do this other thing. Like on the surface, you might realize that these people are just trying to help, but gosh, it is so annoying. Just shut up. Just let me do my thing, please. Just, I'm pretty annoying, right? It was hard for me to come up with something because you guys, on the surface, always seem to have it together. And that is the thing for these types. They are organized in some way. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they have an immaculately organized closet. It just could mean that they have a very organized schedule. They have a routine that they follow precisely every day. They have a very particular focus of what they want to do, and they just do that in the same way. And then, of course, there's inevitably stuff that pops up regularly, and you're just like, what now? Although the way I covered it up, it looks like, hat now. It's like your mom's trying to take you outside during the winter, and she's like, put on a hat, and you're like, hat now? But you'll have a routine you try to follow every day, and then suddenly something manages to pop up and ruin the routine. Your baby starts crying. Your friend has a meltdown and needs you to comfort them. Now, the interesting thing about where they go that makes this kind of what now sort of thing different for these types is that it tends to be like the same thing over and over again. They're like, dude, the baby keeps waking up at this time. Dude, the toilet keeps exploding. What the heck? It's almost like these annoyances are trying to become a part of your routine somehow. Now, these types, they like to predict stuff. They like to see things coming way down the road and be like, oh man, yeah, I knew that Ginny and whatever his name is were going to break up. I knew that that business was going to do really well and make me a lot of money. And they are very good at predicting things, but the annoying thing about these types is that they constantly get surprised. They'll be so focused in on predicting something big over here that this other thing over here seems to come out of nowhere. And unlike these types, which we talked about, it's like, oh, what now? It's this recurring issue. With these types, it seems like totally random, out of nowhere, totally chaotic. How could I have ever predicted this was going to happen? I was able to predict that this business would do really well, but I was totally surprised and caught off guard that this other business totally flopped. How could I have predicted that the people would come to mow the lawn a week early while I was filming? Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay cool and attractive.
They say strangers come to town. They call him Mr. Frank James.